Well, today I'm going to clear out this back part of my property. In theory, when you look at the maps, there should be about 20 acres back here, and this used to be a pasture, kind of we call it the bowl because it's a valley with one entrance. It's very round, bowl-shaped. But 20 years ago, like I said, this was a pasture, and now it's completely overgrown with small trees and a lot of vines. And I just started clearing it out about 10 minutes ago. Figured I'd take a video and kind of show how you go about ripping down these trees. And little trees anyway. Kind of learned quite a few tricks on how to break them more efficiently or pull them up by the roots, and figured somebody might find it interesting besides me. This machine is handy compared to like a bulldozer for doing this because you can clear, first off, you can get it in pretty dang tight spaces, and you can use it to clear a lot of stuff, but still leave some of the undergrowth. You know, like if you were to take a bulldozer, it would pretty much leave a path of dirt that you would have to go back and use soil mats and stuff on later, plant grass. Whereas this thing, if you're talking about a small enough tree, you know, you can yank it right out of the ground and leave a lot of the grass intact and not really need to do that much soil erosion prevention because the grass is still there. I think this is definitely one of the more dangerous tasks you can do with an excavator. Not completely for like putting your body in peril, but this machine operates off of plumbing, and it's got all these hoses everywhere, and there's lots of little limbs and trees and hooks and stuff that can grab a hydraulic hose and yank it out from under you. Or if you look on the side of the boom, I've got my thumb controls that operate the thumb, and they're pretty exposed. If there's one thing that happens more than anything, you got to watch out for a limb or whatever to catch onto that hose and yank it off of there. And I'm trying to get these vines down. Well, let's see. Right now I'm trying to just make a path to get in here. You don't really want to leave much of this stuff on the ground, I've discovered. Not so much with this one, but with my tractor. If you leave sticks and stuff on the ground and you try to drive over them, you're just asking for trouble because something will pop up the wrong direction, and something that looks flat before you drive over it will get stepped on and lift up and grab a hydraulic hose or get in a track. So I never leave that stuff to just drive over. I mean, I will not drive over anything more than about 1.5 inches because you're just asking for trouble. Spend the rest of the day with wrenches trying to fix hoses. And it's definitely faster to go a little slower and not end up fixing your machine the whole day. Alright, so here, this is kind of a big piece. If you look at this tree here I'm about to take out, it's covered in vines and stuff. What I do is I make piles with this thing, and then I move them with my tractor grapple later, because the tractor can move a lot faster and move these things into a burn pile or whatever. So my tractor grapple is 60 inches wide, which is decently wide for a grapple. And but I don't want anything to be, especially anything of any size, to be any longer than about 6 feet, 8 feet at the most. So what I do is I won't just rip the whole tree down. I'll start at the tip, and I'll start destroying it a little chunk at a time. So I'll grab 8 feet from the end, and then usually you can just break these things if they're small enough. It's kind of an awkward angle here, but alright, so I'm going to back up, and then I'm going to sideswipe this thing to the left, and that'll break it off. Alright, come back this way. There we go. So I've got a nice little 8-foot chunk there. Drop it in my pile. Come back up here. Whenever I push on a tree, I always try to go left to right. Because like I said, my hydraulic cables for my thumb are on the left side. So I never push anything this way. I always push it that way because I don't want to snag a hydraulic cable. Alright, so there's about 8 feet. So I'll grab it. And when I'm breaking stuff, if I can, I try to come towards me. You know, this direction. You don't, especially if it's something big like this, because the machine is very strong coming front to back. It's not very strong at all going left to right. You'll break a lot of stuff if you're not careful. Man, this thing is very bendy. Alright, let's try this again. So I'll grab this thing and I'll pull it straight towards me and hopefully it'll break. There we go. Give it a little slack. Put my blade down to give myself some more torque. Alright. This is kind of a bigger piece than you would normally just break. I might have to come back with a chainsaw. This is a little too big. I can do it, but I also don't want to damage the machine. Let's find something smaller. Alright, so before I move over here, I'm going to get rid of this stuff because like I said, I don't ever drive over this stuff. It's too dangerous. You can actually do a lot of this stuff without a hydraulic thumb. That's the thumb out there. But it is so much easier with a thumb. Alright, so it's still a little bit on the big side, but I'll go out here to the end, come back the other way, back up a little bit. Alright. A lot of it depends on the type of tree, I've noticed too. So now I'm coming back the other direction. See, I'm just kind of folding it up into an 8-foot chunk that'll be easy to transport later. Alright. Now I've got it close to the roots. If you wiggle it just right, let's see here. You can pull it, pull it front, pull it back, left, right a little bit, but you don't want to go left, right very hard because you'll mess up your bends. See, now I'm just pulling it straight up. Just about every little root. Hang on. If you look, just about every root came out of there, even some of the really small ones. So, now I've got to get it back where I can get a hold of this thing. There we go. When I go, I make little piles. And then I come back and get them with the tractor just because it moves faster. Saves a little time. Alright, so here's a pretty good example. This little thing I can yank out in one scoop generally. What I'll do is I'll put this thing, the base of this thing down as low as I can go in between one of the teeth, and then I'll thumb it. And then I pull it towards me, and it'll pretty much come up by the roots every time. That's all. And I'll try to shake the saw it off and then throw it in my pile. Alright, on to the next thing here. Sometimes you can use the tip of the bucket like an axe. You can just chop a limb right close to the base. There's also blades on the side here, so you can hit them there. Looks like I'm running low on gas already. Alright. So here we go. I'm going to sweep it left to right. Go ahead and grab a hold. I'm going to come back this way to break it. Alright. So there's one piece. This particular spot's extra challenging because I'm not really on level ground, but alright, that root came right out. As you can see, I mean, there's a little hole there where the stump used to be, but it's mostly pretty intact. Not really much damage to the ground cover. And if you look behind us, I mean, we're dirting it up some, but it's not too bad. Alright, let's see. We'll grab this guy out of here next. Sometimes you can go all the way up to the top if you got a big bucket and jump all the way down. You just got to make sure, be careful, because you'll splinter one and it'll come flying up through holes in your thumb and grab a hydraulic line if you're not careful. Alright, so there's that. Left to right, grab, brake. Alright, drop it over there. Now pull it up by the roots. Your teeth on your bucket and the tips of your grapple are really the best thing you've got for grabbing this stuff. The rest of the bucket is not. Except for just a few things, it doesn't really do that much. It's all in the teeth because you're just grabbing. You're just kind of tangling the teeth up in stuff and then yanking on it. Alright, here we go. Got to get this thing out of the way. I'm going to put it down in between the teeth as much as I can. I'm going to grab a hold. Alright, there's one chunk. And there's the other chunk. And I try to shake the dirt out so that I can burn it later. Or chip it or whatever you want. Alright. So many vines in here, it's kind of tough. One handy thing about using the excavator is you can turn it pretty much on a dime. So when you're in a tight spot like this. Alright. I'm gonna rip these vines out of here. So there's a pole, goes from here to here. I'm gonna grab it and break it. And I'm going to get this other chunk of tree here. Break it too. Oh my gosh. Alright, now you can't see it very well, but I'm pulling it by the root. After you do this enough, you kind of get used to knowing where the root's going to be. There we go. Vines with this machine, you know, with a chainsaw or whatever, they're a nightmare. With this one, they come out pretty relatively easy. They clump up so well, you can get them and just rip the whole big chunk out, which is good unless there's a bunch of them and it's too much for you. Alright. I mean, that would have been a huge task with just a chainsaw. Trying to fight all those. And this other one. And this you can probably do without a thumb because they're so tangled. You can just hook them with the teeth. But I have one, so. Yeah, wiggle it front to back. This is a hard species. I think it's a walnut. They have kind of an unusually difficult root to yank out. So I usually wiggle them front to back, left to right before I try to pull them up. Otherwise, they'll They just bend. They don't really want to break very well. There we go. This little guy, I'll just cut. Some of these, like I said, you don't even need a thumb. I'll try doing this one without a thumb. You can. These little ones, you can get one tooth around one side and then one tooth around the other side. You don't even need a thumb, you just rip it right out. It takes a little longer. There you go. So that's how you do that. Alright, hopefully this is helpful. If there's somebody out there who knows more about this than me, please let me know. I'm always learning. I've got about 400 hours on this thing now. And, but this is definitely my favorite job with this thing. Because you can transform just a huge area in like a day.